Dude. Yo. Y'all already know how we starting, ladies and gentlemen. Drunk Sports Talk back. Another banger. And the shot right now, it's actually going to the Giants. You see what I'm wearing? It's going
Facts.
to the Giants. You know, me and Cash predicted we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk some Knicks, but we're going to talk about the Giants right now. Yo, salute to the Giants, man.
Salute to the motherfucking Giants. Salute.
Yeah.
Good evening. I want to welcome everyone back to Drunk Sports Talk, New York's new #1 sports talk show. We are the voice of the streets. Allow me to reintroduce myself. It's your brother Cash, and I got the one and only, my ride or die, my brother, my boy Q. What's going on, fam?
Yo, I'm chilling. I'm just loving. I'm loving the intensity. I'm loving everything right now. Yo, what's crazy is that yesterday, obviously I was watching the game,
Yeah,
watching the draft. I was like, yo, what's so crazy is that I'm so used to not the Knicks being not in the playoffs that I
yeah,
can literally remember all the
yeah.
moments of the NFL Giants, the NFL draft picks, all the way up
Yeah.
until probably when Odell was picked like 10 years
Facts.
ago. You know what I
Facts.
mean? Like, yo, that shit was bugged out, but I'm like, yo, this is more important. You know, the intensity like that, yo, you feel
Yeah.
it. It's like, yo, bro, that shit's on mute. This game is on live.
Yo, you ain't lying, man. I normally watch the draft too. Definitely always watch the first round. Not always the second and third. I'll kind of grab my phone and scroll through the second and third and look who was picked. But definitely always
Facts.
the first round is an excitement. But like you said, man, yesterday's Knicks playoff basketball, and although it's becoming more common around here now, it's still something that was scarce for a lot of years. So you got to have your eyes on that when it's going down. With that being said, um the Knicks going to Philly yesterday, right? After two, euphoric type games in the Garden, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good
Just
summarization of those last two games.
right.
The first two.
Felt like playoff basketball. Just felt, you know, big shots by DiVincenzo. Brunson couldn't get it going. We had an episode about that, and we'll talk a little bit more because he kind of broke out of his funk a little bit. But like I said, two great games at the Garden. We go up 2-0. New York is on fire. New York is lit. People are running down the streets talking, go New York, go New York, go. You can't walk into a bodega. You can't walk into a deli. You can't walk
Can't
into
walk
the
nowhere.
train station wearing some Knicks shit and not somebody recognizing you go Knicks. It's just a great feeling. The whole, you know what I mean? Like I'm running around, go
Facts.
Knicks. He's running around, go Knicks. Knicks. It's a whole vibe out here. If you in the city, you understand. If you're not in the city, you got to come out here and check it out. But nevertheless, they run down the road. Philly's about 100 miles down the road from New York City, about an hour and a half to 2 hour drive. Shout out to the city of Philly because I fuck with a lot of them dudes out there. I got dudes in Philly, much respect. But we're not talking about life. We're talking about basketball, right? Basketball life. We went in there and I'm thinking to myself, listen, let's get a stranglehold on this series. 3-0, at least get one, but I would have liked to have gotten that game 3. You know what I'm saying? To me, that would have been the death blow. That would have been a knockout punch. You know what I'm saying? Philly was
I agree.
unraveling a little bit. You saw Joel Embiid, looking down and looking meek, and he looked hurt after he tried to, he threw it to himself off the backboard and hurt his knee. Nick Nurse crying to the refs. Tyrese Maxey complaining, turning over having big turnovers, and just they didn't look like a championship team to me in those first two games. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, we got these dudes. Let's go. We go down to Philly, right? And listen, it was a back and forth game for the most part, especially throughout the first, I want to say 2.5 quarters. The Knicks seemed poised. They didn't seem rattled. You kind of saw a lot of desperation with the
Mm-hmm.
Sixers. That sucker shit that Joel Embiid did, which we'll talk about in a little bit, should have been a flagrant 2. We'll get to that, but they just look tense. Listen, man, listen. They look. It just seemed like, okay, Knicks might get this. We were holding it down. up by 4, down by 4. It was a close game, right? And then the third quarter happens, and Joel Embiid just starts raining down fucking threes. You know what I'm saying? And
Crazy.
Sixers rain. Yo, this shit was crazy, and it just got
They
away
went
from
for
me.
they went for like 6 for 8 in the
Yo,
third
it was
quarter.
insane. Joel Embiid looking like Steph Curry. Yo, Embiid Curry. He's coming out court. And listen, let me say this because I want to get to the shit he did, man. But I do want to say this about Joel Embiid, man. He's hurt and he's dropping 50. He's an incredible player. Stephen A. said something earlier, and I don't always agree with Goofy A. Smith, but he said, he said something that if Embiid wasn't hurt so much, we'd be talking about him as the greatest big man to ever play the game, man. And that's I actually think his skill set is on 100. He can handle. He could go take you down low, turnarounds, post ups. He can rebound. He can shoot like no other fucking big man has ever done. I think he'd be better than Shaq. I think he'd be better than almost everybody. Even maybe Olajuwon. Even talking modern day plays Jokic. But enough praise about Joel Embiid. The game got away from us in that half. Brunson broke out of his slump. We're gonna talk about how Brunson broke out of his slump. Like we said before, DiVincenzo, Hart, they all play well, but I need Brunson to be on fire and one other guy to be on fire as well. You know what I'm saying? It can't be just one. This is our problem. This is why we always talk about you need another certified scorer. Devo had a nice drive down the lane. He banged it on. I forget who he banged it on, but he got crazy ups, man. But I know I'm all over the place, but it was a crazy game. It gets away from us. We couldn't seem to come back after that third quarter onslaught. What was your take of the game? I want to get your take of the game. Why you think we lost? How you think we're gonna do next game? And then we're gonna get into the flagrant 2 foul and my theory on why they called it a flagrant 1. But the floor is yours.
Yeah. It was a close game up until up until that it was called not a close game at that point. If the Philly fans want to talk that way, I could talk that talk too, but I ain't using the refs. You see the difference between Knicks fans and every other NBA fan? We don't complain about shit. We have teammates. That calm the other one down that say, nah, we don't need a replay. You fouled him. No, we don't need a challenge. You fouled him. Nah, just do better the next one. And that's what we did. But let's keep it a buck. We knew this was going to happen after the first 2 games. We knew it wasn't going to go our way. We knew there were, it's not getting swayed. Yo, I'm not taking nothing away from Embiid. For that man to play as injured as he is, to drop 50.
A 50 burger,
and hit 4 back-to-back 3-pointers.
That's insane.
That's
4 back-to-back threes. They have 42. I think they have 42 points in that quarter, bro. That's crazy.
Just that just goes to show, how good they are. Now, we lost the key piece in Mitchell Robinson, and that's a big factor. But
100%.
Let's keep it a buck, man. Like, we're still a good team, and we're just as good and better than the Sixers, and I wholeheartedly believe it. All we did was we wasn't doing anything, and the biggest factor was we didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah,
but
and we've been good with that.
They're fouling Embiid way too much. Because
they're undersized. That's the problem. Hartenstein,
Embiid himself went to the line by halftime more than the entire Knicks team.
Yeah.
It ended up with
my theory on that, but go ahead.
I think it was 33. They had 33 attempts, and the Knicks had 19 attempts at the free throw line.
Yeah,
that's insane. If we're gonna foul that man, foul him fucking hard, because you know what? That's what you got to do. Yeah, I'm sorry to say, but you don't just foul him and be like, oh shit, I just grabbed his wrist. Nah. If I'm gonna foul him,
make sure he don't. When I used to play ball, my coach used to say, "No, if you're gonna foul him, make sure you don't hit the layup."
Yeah, exactly. Don't make it too crazy. Look what they did to DiVincenzo.
Yeah,
Kyle Lowry, his long ass nails and shit. Nigga looking like motherfucking.
Oh, you mean Hartenstein?
No, that was Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's the one who fouled DiVincenzo.
Big scratch.
Nope. Yeah, but Kyle Lowry is the one who scratched. He cut DiVincenzo in his eye.
Oh
He was he was bleeding.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
Right, you're right. Yep.
you know what I mean? Like, yeah, and then and then you got Hardenstein. It's like, yo, bro. But hey, to be honest, I'm really not that mad because we came out and we showed heart, and they just played the game only because you know what I mean. Like they went to the foul line. Let's be honest, they didn't really beat us. The only reason that they beat us was because they got fouled. The Knicks played way too. I don't want to say over aggressive, but overzealous, like Frazier would say. They played overzealous. Like you got to play that hard defense, but you also got to do it in a way where it's not going to put you and keep Embiid off the line. Like that. That's really it. Make him take them threes. He's not going to be hitting that all. He's not going to be hitting that all the season. Like you know what I mean. And keep the tallest guy on him. Like and another thing is the switch offs. We're not getting to our switch offs like off the screens. Like yo, when we're switching off, man, like I think that's one of the reasons that our switch ups is way too stagnant right now. I think it's too cold. People we're not picking it up. Like I think other people. I think the Philadelphia team is taller, but we're not picking it up, and we could do switch ups because they're not really moving the ball because the ball is being revolved around Embiid. Embiid can't
And
really
Maxi.
run. And Maxi is the only one that can really run. Embiid is not going to be running up and down. You see what he's doing? He's taking those 3-pointers. He's taking those twos. Like he'll take he probably had like maybe 2 or 3 drives down the hole strong, and then he over here kicking fucking Hartenstein in the nuts. He's grabbing Mitchell Robinson's leg. Yo, that's some dirty ass shit.
Yo,
so
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's zone in, and I want to get to a couple of the key points that you had mentioned, man. Listen, before we get into the Embiid thing, you can't win the game when you don't close the 3-point line out, man. That shouldn't have happened in that end of that third quarter, man. 43 points in that quarter, Embiid just going nuts from 3-pointers. Embiid in isolation with a hobbled Mitch is a problem, and Embiid is part of the reason. That Mitch was hobbled. I know Mitch was coming in a little bit hobbled already. I get that. And Robinson goes out. Precious comes in. As much as I love Precious, he's a dog. Bronx kid, love him. I fuck with him. He has a place in his team. He's too little to fuck with Embiid. He's food for Embiid. And as much as I love Hartenstein, he's got gut, guile, heart. No pun intended. He's a dog. He's too little to fuck with Embiid. Mitchell Robinson is the best guy we could put defensively on Embiid. And you had all these ancillary guys, you know what I'm saying? Payne hitting big fucking shots, man. You gotta shut that 3-point line. Cameron Payne with some big fucking shots, just killing some of our momentum. You know what I'm saying? Every time I felt like we hit a shot, every time we hit a 2, they'd come back with a fucking 3. We did some good things. Bogdan had a nice block. Defense is contagious. We did keep our poise. I don't think we got punked. You know what I mean? I think outside of that third quarter, I think the game was close. And not for nothing, Embiid shouldn't have been even in that game because that was 100% a flagrant 2. And for the refs not to call that and give it a flagrant 1, listen, let me say this. I want to say this. The NBA does a very good job, in my opinion, right? I usually like how the NBA
they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, but I usually like how the NBA runs itself, how it polices itself. A lot of people have problems with Adam Silver. I like Adam Silver. I also had like David Stern, rest of dead. People don't think that Adam Silver does a great job, but he's carrying on David Stern's tradition. They're global. They switched the game up to where it's more exciting now. It's more offensive oriented, as opposed to them old, 80 to 75 grinded out Detroit, Chicago Bulls, Knicks, ground and pound shit. But not to give Joel Embiid a flagrant on that is just insane. You're not, to me, look, I'm not going to go as far as say you're rigging games, but I will say you're a guy, by doing that, they didn't want to toss Joel Embiid out. Let's be honest. He's a major star. Ratings go down. You want to extend the series. It's good for ratings. You know what I'm saying? They're not rigging games, but in my opinion, they're guiding the outcome of games, and that's just disgusting to me because that shit was a dirty play. It was a flagrant two. He should have been ejected. And that changed the whole outcome of the game because you got people saying, "Oh, if we're gonna beat them, I want to beat him with a beat." I don't care how we beat him. I just want to beat him. He goes out the game. That 50 points goes out the game with him. That was a dirty play. What was your thoughts on that shit,
bro? That's some dirty ass shit. Like, and to be honest, man, like, yo, I'm gonna make a fucking, let me make an announcement on you Philly fans, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is how y'all are. Like when y'all won y'all first fucking championship, y'all Super Bowl with the Eagles, y'all fucking destroyed y'all whole town. And then you wanna you like, and I'm not speaking to people who probably disagree or agree, whatever. I'm speak to the masses because the NBA fans will agree that's a dirty ass play. Like, you don't do that. I could understand the shit about Maxey, and I even been like, yo, they could have called it, whatever. But yo, when another dude is jumping up and you have the nerve to grab my leg, bro, like if Robinson would have stomped on his fucking face, he had all the right to do it.
Yeah. He's our best matchup on the B too. He plays him as well as you can because he has height, he has length. You know what I'm saying? He has some strength. He's a little bit light in the ass pause for Embiid, but he's still our best, in my opinion, best defensive matchup when he's out there. Embiid was cooking Hartenstein, and I love Hartenstein. Yeah. And when B was cooking Precious Achiuwa.
Yeah, they have
small. They're too little.
They have to do a better job. Like, if they want to now, and I figured it was gonna come down to this. Yeah. I knew it was gonna happen after the first two games. But like, damn, bro, like for it to be that blatant and that negligent, like that's just out of hand. It's not like we didn't punch Maxey in his face when he was on the floor, or you know what I mean? We didn't kick Nick Nurse in his balls when he was trying to call the timeout. Like, dude grabbed a whole nother player's leg. You know what I mean? Like, I see what Embiid is doing. He's drawing the fouls. He has no mobility. So what we need to do to win this next game, we got to run at a faster pace. We got to make sure Embiid is up and down that court every fucking time. We got to put his knee to work, as crazy as it sounds, because we have to pick up the pace. We have to pick up the pace. Because we need to keep Maxey on that floor. At that point, Batum and all those guys are going to be outside factor. Embiid will be an outside factor because he's not going to be running up and down that court. His knee's going to fucking swell up. Like, I'm pretty sure it's already is. Like, and now we play on Sunday. Let's see how it is. And I'm not worried about injuries, but that's what you need to do. We're not playing our type of game right now. We are not. We're playing a slower game. And you know what I mean? Like, yo, I'll keep it a buck. They're playing a dirty game, man. Like, yo, same shit happened with the Heat. You know, if y'all really want the Knicks to lose this bad, then just say it. Y'all can't just say that the Knicks ain't just playing great, because fucking Brunson just cooked Batum and Maxey in one game. He came back. So you can't even, you know what I mean? Like,
Maxey was cooking too, though. Maxey's
cooking, but like,
they was dueling Iron Mike shit. They was dueling.
Yeah, but like, be hand guarding Brunson, and Brunson is cooking Batum. So it's, what else? Like, how much more do we need to do and prove that this Knicks team is elite? And we're still hurt, even though they have their top guy still hurt. We're still hurt. We don't have no Randall, and that's not the excuse. We're still been giving y'all a challenge.
No, I think he would have made a big difference. He would have provided size, pause, length, strength, aggression, rebounding, scoring. Randall's but I still think we could beat him without him. But you brought up you brought up Jalen Brunson. What a fucking difference from the first two games. 39 points, 13 assists, 13 for 27 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3-point range, 10 for 12 on his free throws. He was even though he was a minus 14 when he was on the floor, I think that's, that you can skew that any way you want. So the difference between, in my opinion, I want to play this clip. It's Stephon Marbury on Knicks Fan TV. Shout out to Knicks Fan TV. But he's talking about this is before game. Yeah, this is before game 3, right?
Yeah.
And he's talking about um why he thought Jalen was having issues in terms of how the Sixers were guarding him and what he felt he should do. And this is Stephon Marbury, point guard. He knows the game, right? I thought this was very interesting. And I think he did. I think Steph was on point with some of the things he said. And I think that's what got, uh, what's the name out of
Uh,
this,
oh,
Jalen out of slump, so to speak. So let
yeah.
me play this clip.
Brunson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me hear. Let's hear.
When
Let's
the
hear.
pick
Let's
and
hear.
roll is occurring, what he needs to do is that pick and roll, when it comes, he needs to come off the pick and roll hard and then make a move attacking downhill. He got to make a decision opposed to coming off the pick and roll and probing.
Right.
You know, they've been studying him and they've been watching film, which they are doing a great job as far as following out their game plan and how they have him in their space, in their temperament of how they want him to play on pick and roll. So he's playing at their pace. He has to get back into playing his attack mode downhill, going right at Joel Embiid. Yeah, he may get some blocks, but he got to go to his chest. He has to go and try to draw fouls. He has to use his floater. He has to use his pull-up shot. And he has to be a little bit more decisive off of the dribble coming off the pick and roll. But overall, you know, there's two things. There's the good, and then there's the not so good. I wouldn't say bad because he's still attacking. He's not on his angle pick and rolls. He needs to have more space where he could go left, when he could go right. He's kind of like inside of the slot area, opposed to being on an angle where he's going downhill.
Listen, you get the gist. I think he did some of that. I think what was interesting to me, and it's crazy, you know, how like he sees the game through a different lens as us fans. Even though we play basketball, we haven't played basketball on that level. What he said was when he's coming off the pick and roll, he needed to make quicker decisions. Come off that pick and roll hard, not be in that intermediate area. Come off the pick and roll hard and make it move downhill instead of just probing. What he means by that is, you know, when there's a high pick and roll, you're coming off the top, you're dribbling, you get around the pick, and you're kind of just feeling it out. Should I go left? Should I go right? Should I dump the ball off? No, know what you want to do. Come off that pick and roll. Already know what you want to do. Downhill. And I think he started doing that. He also was hitting some of the shots, some of the looks, open looks he was missing. These first 2 games, he was hitting them. I think he's got his mojo back. He did have 13 assists, right? And Brunson played a phenomenal game. The only thing I can say about, and I'm not hating on Jalen Brunson. Lord knows, everyone knows I love Jalen Brunson, right? I love Jalen Brunson, my favorite Knick. But I think even though he had 13 assists, I think, as crazy as it sounds, could have got the offense, other guys involved a little bit more. Some of them were hollow assists, if you understand what I'm saying. I think I'm looking at DiVincenzo's stats in 20.
Well, DiVincenzo got himself in foul trouble, and that's another thing.
But 28% from the field, 50% from free throws, 5 points, bro. That's foul trouble or not, that's unacceptable. There was nobody else to, except OG. OG had a good game. Let's see what OG did. OG had
a great game.
OG had 17 points, 63% from the field, so he shot well, from 75% from 3-point range. He had a good game, but still, 17 points isn't enough against Philly, man. Somebody has to step up. 2 niggas got to cook it once. They got to be 2 chefs in the fucking kitchen, in my opinion. You understand what I'm saying? It has to be that way. You know what I'm saying? Because Philly has 2 chefs in the kitchen. And Embiid is going to get his shit off, and Maxi's going to get his shit off. You know what I'm saying? So someone else has to step up. It's going to be interesting to see what adjustments Tibbs makes next game. You got to try to do shit to slow down Maxi a little bit. And they say the role players, like I said last episode, don't play as well on the road. I get it, but somebody else has to step up, and we have to figure this out, because if we lose this next game, which I don't think we will, I think we go in there and we win. But if we lose, I still think we win the series, but that puts it a lot of fucking pressure now, going back to the Garden, being tied up.
At that point is 1-1-1-1. You know, like,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what we don't
You don't
need.
win, and you don't win at the God forbid you don't win at the Garden because of the pressure. But Knicks this year have not folded on to pressure, so I give them that. They're hard. They got toughness. They got heart.
Yep.
They know how to win. They don't fold very easy, so I'm not worried about that. But yo, you never know,
Yo,
right?
I'm not. I agree. And yo, I won't be surprised as I take this sip.
Yeah,
I'm about to say some crazy shit.
yeah,
If an adjustment is
yeah,
that, probably DiVincenzo like doesn't even start the next game,
yeah.
and McBride does.
No, I think they're gonna
I,
start
I
Devo.
I'm pretty sure they are, but I like Devo going against the second string better. And I've told you this for how long? You know, like, yo, Devo and Hart, man, like these, like Devo, Hart, Miles McBride, man, like these are guys that should be like, well, they don't need to be on the bench, but those are the guys that will dominate whoever the fuck like is coming off anybody else, any
Yeah,
opposing team bench. Those three
yeah,
guys will annihilate anybody, and
yeah,
like that's what you need to win this game. And you know, Brunson did it, and we said that DiVincenzo needed to have a big game. He didn't have a big game.
yeah.
They took him out of the game. They
Facts.
literally took him out of the game. Like 5 points was crazy. We lost by what, 11 or 10?
Yeah,
And
10.
and
Yeah.
we lost by 10, and the Sixers shot 14 more free throws than us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And shot 89%, and they only missed like 3 of them or 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. Look how much closer that game, and that's all on Embiid. So, yo, we got to keep our big man in there. So if Mitchell Robinson's not coming back, that's gonna be a key thing. Yo, pressure. We got to figure out these double team issues. We got to figure out how we're gonna double team Embiid to make him pass the ball, but also when they swing it out to whoever wing that Embiid's gonna swing it out to, we pick it up immediately because that's what's gonna happen. But we have to be prepared for it, because if not, then somebody else is gonna make that.
Yeah. Facts. So, listen, big game Sunday. You already know what it is. We we're gonna go in there. We're gonna handle our business. We're gonna shoot back up the turnpike, come back to the Garden, close them out. You already know what time it is. Go New York, go New York, go. We got
You
heart
already know. You already
resolve.
know.
We are, you know what I'm saying? So let's get it. We'll come back Sunday and we'll talk more about that. But I do want to transition into. We're gonna stay in. We Sony PlayStation tonight. We so NY, my nigga, tonight. You feel what I'm saying? There we go. Let's transition into the New York Giants, my G-men. You know what I'm saying?
Word up.
With the 6th pick in the draft, the New
Yo,
York Giants select.
before you about to do a dope ass intro, but can we take a shot just for the draft though? For who they drafted? Because yo, bro, I think me and you, bro, predicted it, and me and you both agreed to
We
it.
predicted
Like,
it, and we didn't hold on, we didn't predict it like 2 weeks ago on some, like, we just did a little bit of bullshit research, and we said, oh, we predicted this shit months ago. This is a fact. We have receipts.
Word.
You can go back into the fucking archives when you get off here, and I'm not bragging. I'm trying to be humble, but we did predict it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we could boast a little
amongst other peoples. We're not the only one who predicted it. You know what I'm saying? Amongst
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
shout out to everybody doing this, man.
Shout out to everybody doing this. So
Yeah,
shout out
man.
to the Giants. And with the 6th pick in the NFL 2024 NFL draft, the New York Giants select LSU wide receiver Malik Nabers. Salute. Big move. And I'm gonna explain why in a second.
Salute.
Yo. Now, I want to set this up properly. Listen. There's people. You know what? Let me play the clip. This is a clip off the the Tierney and Licata show, and they had Brandon Jacobs on there today. Shout out to Brandon Jacobs, 2-time Super Bowl champion.
Brandon Jacobs,
you know what I'm saying?
Yo,
That's my guy.
He was our refrigerator.
he was the juggernaut. I want to play this. Listen, I want to play this clip. And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about it. Sal Licata, I'm gonna set this clip up. Sal Licata is basically, he doesn't like the pick. He thinks they should have either traded up to get a QB because he doesn't want Daniel Jones in there, or traded down. If they couldn't get the QB, they want traded down, or get an offensive lineman, or maybe have traded down to get more picks. I don't necessarily disagree, but I think the Giants, they say, yes, every team has a need, right? And you try to target the need that you have on your team specifically, right? Giants have a couple of needs, but if you don't, if the need you most, if the player you most need is not on the board, what do you do, Q? You select the best talent, right?
Always.
Malik Nabers, and I'm gonna play the clip. Malik Nabers.
Whoa. You
hold on,
select
let me
the
get this
best.
thought out. Malik Nabers.
But you also select the best talent that will fit the team on the team.
No, but if you the rule is if you can't get your specific need, you go for the best talent on the board. That's a no-brainer, 100%. And then you figure it out later. You assemble the plan on the way down. But with Malik Nabers, not only and I truly believe this, not only, and I've said between him and Marvin Harrison Jr., but I give the edge to Malik Nabers. Not only is he the best wide receiver in the whole draft, not the first round, the whole draft, and there's some really good receivers in this draft, but he's the best offensive player, in my opinion, in this draft. He's electric. He's dynamic. Let's hear this clip, and then I want you to respond, and I'll respond.
Curious to get your take on it, Brandon. I watched you, obviously, throughout your career, win, running the football, defense, smash mouth football, obviously Eli being clutch. You didn't need a top wide receiver with the Giants. We saw Odell Beckham Jr., top wide receiver. They didn't win squat after your guys, model left and moved on, right? I know the sport has evolved and changed. Do you believe in building a team by getting a top receiver? Me, I would have traded down if you didn't like the quarterback. I just don't believe in needing a star receiver. How do you view building a football team?
As a running back, right? So I want to take you back.
Yeah.
You don't need a top wide receiver to be able to make a team. Do you remember in 2008, we dominated everybody?
Right.
And a mistake happened with Plexico.
Yeah.
Once that happened with Plexico, our team did what?
Right. I know you went south. I know.
We went down.
Everything changed.
It changed
12-4, ended up losing to the Eagles that year.
It changed everything. Know why? Because we had our way of playing. We had our identity. Right, you got a 6'5" wide receiver on the outside that can outrun just about any DB out there. So he's going to take a little bit to handle. Right. Yep. So while you're taking a little, I think Plexico had that season. I think he had like 400, 500 yards receiving.
Really good blocker too. Really good blocker.
So he mattered to our offense a lot. You're going to sit there and double coverage and put him in double coverage.
Right.
So me and the Maj is going to run down your throat.
But as far as level of importance, interior line play, quarterback, edge rusher, corners, like, to me, I just don't. You could find wide receivers, and the fact that the Giants don't have a lot to begin with, I don't think they have a quarterback. Now, maybe your opinion is different. You like Daniel Jones. I just feel like it's building outside in, building backwards, where they needed so many other things as opposed to a wide. It's not about Nabers himself. He could be a stud for all I care. I'm
gonna give your floor is yours. Tell me your thoughts on that. On maybe Sal Licata thinking you shouldn't draft receiver position that high. You go for more, maybe not as sexy as a pick, but like an offensive lineman, or you try. If you can't trade him and get the QB you want, right? Because you're not just, in my opinion, you don't just trade him to get a QB. It has to be a guy you really like. They didn't see the guy they really liked. They grabbed Malik Nabers. What's your opinion on that?
I think the Giants are changing their culture. I think they did it when they drafted Saquon and grabbing that stud, and that's not a bad thing. It's really not, because let's be honest. What does a quarterback do? Like, what does Daniel Jones really do? Like, what's their job? Their job is to throw the ball. If you can't throw the ball, and if you have nobody who can get open, who is the blame on? Are you going to blame the front office for drafting people who didn't fit the system? Or are you drafting, or are you blaming the quarterback because his wide receivers are not getting, or are you blaming the wide receivers because they can't get open? Facing the cornerbacks. I think they did a phenomenal job in doing this. I really do. I think they're putting some pep in the step. I think we need to put the foot on Daniel Jones' neck. And if he doesn't work out, he doesn't work out. What happens? we have two really good young running backs that will work with a new young quarterback in 2025. Like, if I'm mad about that, no, I'm really not. Like, I don't care about the running back by committee. Like, this is not that Giants team no more. People have to understand this is not that same organization that it was 15, 20 years ago. It's not. Like, as much as I love that how they were, but this is not. The game has changed. The same way that people were shooting 3 pointers and NBA now, like fucking tremendously a lot. Well, you need people who can quickly catch a ball and make a touchdown and beat the brakes off of him. You need a quarterback. Granted, the only key point he had was that, yeah, we could have got a quarterback, and that made history. This is the first time in NFL history that 6 quarterbacks were drafted before the 12th pick ever. Like, that's crazy. Like yo, this NFL draft reminded me of like people who don't know how to draft and NFL fantasy football teams. When they just randomly put the stick up there, like, yo, I want Rodgers, I want Mahomes, I want like, nah, man, no, yeah, but who are they throwing to? Like, yeah, you can have the Mahomes, but you still got to get open. Like, you have to always have that benefit where, hey, when you don't have a Mahomes, hey, but this dude got an arm, and Jalen Hyatt can get open. Malik Nabers can get open, and they could run routes and shake shit up. That's gonna be the difference. That's what we need. We need to be a deep threat team because we're gonna have a decent offensive line. We're not gonna have a really crazy. Think about it. We lost Saquon Barkley. What else we're gonna do? We're gonna just sit down there and fucking get a quarterback, and then we're gonna be sitting here again for like 10 years wondering who's going to be. Nah, we have a bunch of people that can make plays. We just need the person to make it, holding that ball, saying hike, calling that play, making the decision, making the right decision. And if he's not the right one, which I don't think he is, I'm not mad. There's decisions out there. There's other people out there that are going to be free agents in 2025 that I feel like we can go and get.
There are two schools of thought essentially on how to draft, right? There's one school of thought where receivers and skill position players shouldn't be maybe drafted that high, top 10, top 7, top 12. People believe you traditionally want to get you a left tackle or offensive tackle or like a really good edge rusher, you know what I'm saying? And then or obviously a QB if you have one, or like a really, like I said, like a really good edge rusher. And I agree with that, but part of that philosophy is antiquated. And I think for the Giants specific situation, this was the right pick. Not only was it the sexy pick, it was the right pick. If you don't like a quarterback, you don't force it. The guys that were ahead, maybe you like Drake May, you couldn't do the deal with New England. You couldn't, so you don't just draft up to get another guy or pick another guy. You know what I'm saying? Like Penix was available. They didn't like Penix. You don't just get Penix. Our specific need was we lacked playmakers. We lacked specifically playmakers at the wide receiver position. You know what I'm saying? Say what you want about Daniel Jones. This essentially becomes another reevaluation year for him. That's the only part I don't like. But drafting Malik Nabers, in my opinion, the right thing to do for this specific situation. The best receiver, the best offensive player on the board at that time is fitting our specific need. I agree. Could you have drafted down, maybe went and got another offensive tackle, and maybe got like this? Like I said, is a deep draft in terms of where receivers are. Maybe you could have got no. You got to get Malik Nabers, bro. Absolutely need that. Now, in terms of the quarterback position,
and we got a safety. We got a safety today.
Oh yeah, but hold on.
Let's not forget that.
But in terms of Malik Nabers, no, excuse me. In terms of Daniel Jones, yeah, we're probably going to be moving off of him. But the only thing I don't like about that is don't turn this into another reevaluation year. let's say he has a slightly better year. He throws 19 fucking touchdowns, 8 picks. He runs for 600 plus yards. Don't let that fool you, man. You know what I'm saying? He has a couple of weapons now, so he's not the guy. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have Jalen Hyatt taking the top off the defense, Malik Nabers, Hodgins, bunch of guys. You know what I'm saying that he could work with. You know what I'm saying? A healthy Darren Waller, right? We lose Saquon.
Well, if he even comes back, is he even coming back?
I believe I'm pretty sure he's coming back. Let's say he comes back. You have some weapons you could deal with, but he's not the quarterback of the future. Please don't get that confused. I don't even think this is the play for this year. I think the Giants will be a mediocre, maybe less than mediocre team, and I think they have a chance to be right back in the draft next year and maybe go and get the guy. And if you can't go get that guy, right? If you don't find yourself high enough in the draft to get that guy again, pull the checkbook out. Go snatch you a fucking
spend some money.
Spend some money. Go get you a Dak Prescott. This ways to get around that. You saw the Falcons. You know what I'm saying? They went and gave Kirk Cousins $100 million, and then they drafted Penix too. That's a whole other situation we'll talk about for another day. But in my opinion, Malik Nabers, man, I told you last week that they compare him to Devontae Adams. And they compare him to Tyreek Hill. That's insane. His speed is insane. He runs every route in the route tree. He can go line up on the outside. He can line up on the slot, take the top off the defense.
Now,
hold on. He is a baller, bro.
No. Now let me ask you this: do you think now? Do you think now it's going to be too much pressure?
No,
for Daniel Jones.
No, I think Daniel. No, I think there's always pressure, and I think that Daniel Jones. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he balls out and has a great year. I want to see if he can get the ball downfield. We know he can run a little bit. We know he can take a dunk. We know he can throw it out to the flats. You know what I'm saying? Middle of the field shit. But to me, his biggest problem was he don't see downfield right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You saw the difference even when DeVito came in. Him and Jalen Hyatt connecting. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think they got to move off Daniel Jones no matter what. Darius Slayton. We just got Isaiah McKenzie, Miles Boykin. Isaiah Hodges is good. Wanda Robinson, dude. Malik Nabers is the guy. End the fucking story. I promise you. We're gonna be excited this year. You're gonna see some shit out of Malik Nabers. I promise you.
I think him and Jalen Hyatt are gonna be. They potentially have the ability to be the next Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill duo. I don't want to compare them to those two players, but we potentially have a dual threat.
Possible.
And all we need is that quarterback to do what he needs to do. And if not, I don't think that Joe Shane and Dable are going to be holding back anything. They know.
And we got Drew Lock, and he's injury prone. We got Drew Lock. Drew Lock's a decent backup. And we have Andrew Thomas, one of the best left tackles in football. So we brought in John Runyon. We brought in Illuminor. We made some fucking moves. Hopefully, we'll get something out of Evan Neal. I know that's, I know black people are going to snicker at that, but, we have some options over there. We secured the offensive line. We went and got Brian Burns on defense. He's a baller. You know what I'm saying? Dexter Lawrence. McFadden, Thibodeau, Trey Hawkins, I like. We brought in Jalen. Hold up, we brought in Jalen Mills, Deontay Banks. I'm very high on. Jason Pinnock. I'm very high on. We lost Ashawn Robinson, but whatever. I think we have holes. Do we have as many holes as people are trying to say? I don't think so. I think we're off to a good start. I think again, Shane and Dable, very smart guys, and I think this is not. If you're looking for them to make noise, they're still the worst team in the fucking NFC East, but. Are they better than they were last year on paper right now? Absolutely, and I think they'll continue to trend upwards in that direction.
And another thing that people need to put into the aspect of viewing at things is that these other teams are not going to get any better. Like the Cowboys are in shambles. Like we don't even know what's gonna go on with the Eagles.
Eagles got better. So did Washington.
Washington got better because they drafted a new quarterback. But listen, This is all learning curves.
Washington is good.
You know what I mean? And they just signed AJ Brown to like a $90-something million deal for like 3 years.
Yeah,
so,
Eagles brought in some defensive guys.
He didn't do shit. So, this is gonna be an interesting season. Like this to watch, like to actually really watch, because I want to see these quarterbacks on display. I want to see what Dak Prescott's gonna do. I want to see what Jalen Hurts is gonna do, because he didn't do nothing last year. Let's keep it a buck. He really didn't do anything. I'm not a Philly hater. I watched the game and I see people's potential. I know, you know what I mean? Like, you can see when shit ain't moving your way. And obviously, they didn't move in Philadelphia's way last year. And if people disagree with me, then that's a topic. That's topic of a discussion that we gotta have to have another day.
Listen, Eagles. I'm looking at the depth chart, right? Obviously, Jalen Hurts is good. They stole Saquon Barkley from the Giants. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. You already know what time it is with them. Devontae Parker. They stole Paris Campbell as well from the Giants. Even though he didn't have a great year with us, he might fit in better in that system. CJ Uzomah comes over from the Jets. They still have Dallas Goedert, a really good tight end, right? On the defensive side of the ball, Milton Williams, defensive end. He's very good. They stole Bryce Huff. They brought in some guys. They lost some guys, but they brought in some guys. Devin White, linebacker. They got some players over there, man. Darius Slay, CJ Gardner-Johnson. Listen, Eagles are pretty good, bro. Don't get it twisted. Same thing with Washington. And Dan Quinn goes over to Washington. He steals a couple of Cowboys guys, but Cowboys are still way better than the Giants. Giants are the worst team in that division, 100%. But we're not finished, so everyone calm the fuck down. You understand?
I disagree, man. I do not think we're the worst division. I don't think we're the worst.
We're the worst team in that division. Who we better than? Who we better than?
I think we're still better than the Commanders, and I think we have a fighting chance with the Cowboys.
Nah, you're crazy.
Come on, man. One of the I don't know. Micah Parsons got a fucking a podcast, and what was that left tackle just fucking got destroyed all last year? Come on, man. That team is good, but it's good on paper. But you know what I mean? And this is the only reason I agree with what
Jaden Daniels, Austin Eckler, Terry McLaurin, Zach Ertz, they got ballers. You sleeping on Washington. Washington is you're bugging, man. Giants are not better than Washington, bro. I promise.
I'm not saying that they are, but I'm not really worried about
Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is gonna be a good NFL. I wanted the Giants to get him, to be honest with you. Jaden Daniels is gonna be a good player.
Yeah, but we didn't have that capability. If you're not in that top 5, we already knew what was gonna happen. That was like set in stone who was gonna go 1, 2, and 3, damn near. The only one that kind of threw me for a loop was JJ McCarthy going and Penix. I was like, holy shit, those were a little bit different.
We'll talk about the whole Giant shit. Maybe the whole NFL draft maybe Sunday, but let's keep it in NY, man. What do you think about the Jets drafting? Excuse me. Just fact. Excuse me. The Olu Fashanu from Penn State, man. Great offensive tackle. They trade down from the 10th to the 11th. With who was it? With
Minnesota, I think.
Minnesota, and then they get I think they go from 6th and they get a 5th and a 4th, right? 6th round they get a 5th and a 4th. They secured up the O-line with people like Morgan Moses this year, John Simpson, Tyron Smith, who's a phenomenal left tackle. Now they get Fashanu, who, check this out, who didn't give up a single sack in his whole college career. He's a really good left tackle. We're gonna see where they're gonna put him. He's gonna have to be versatile. Gonna have to be able to move around that line. Joe Douglas, being an offensive lineman himself, he understands that. Like I said, you're not gonna replace Tyron Smith at the left tackle, barring any injuries. But that O-line does get hurt a lot. So you slip him in there, God forbid if anything happens. If not, like Elijah Vera Tucker last year, you kind of move him around a little bit. I thought the sexier pick was Brock Bowers, but I thought that the more pragmatic
with the Raiders, that was crazy.
Yeah. But for the Jets, I thought, Brock Bowers was the sexier, the shiny toy, the playmaker would have been the sexier pick, but I thought the more pragmatic pick was Olu Fashanu. What do you think about that pick? You know what I'm saying? They got Kinlaw and Hassan Reddick on the defensive side of the ball to already go with a stout fucking defense that they have. What do you think about them locking up that securing the offensive line a little bit more?
I think it was great. Now what's starting to fear me is like they might be listening to the fans way too much.
What do you mean?
A lot of fans were saying, "Yo, we need to secure that O-line and secure
what
this."
They do. Joe Douglas been trying to do that since he got here, trying to build that wall up.
Exactly. He's been trying. And this is why I'm so happy that the Giants didn't, because the Giants failed 3-4 times drafting an offensive tackle, offensive lineman, and I feel like building the team around veterans and getting a young offensive tackle at this point to play behind a veteran, I think that was the smartest move, and I think that's how you build, your future, because you're gonna have a bunch of young guys. I think it was a genius move, to be honest, man. I think the Jets
secured the future for sure, because Tyron Smith's not going to be around forever. He's like he's all chips in the middle of the table. Aaron Rodgers needs to win now type of player. Yeah, I agree.
He's not. And then neither is Aaron Rodgers. And then the next goal is, who's the next quarterback? Who's gonna be, like that? But you have young people.
Yeah.
If you have a young squad, you can get a quarterback that doesn't have to be fucking straight out of college. You can get a quarterback that's played in the game for 5 years and just pay buku bucks. You got money, spend it, man. People forget that's how you build these teams sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, people, you don't just get players by, like, nobody just drafts the best NFL team ever or NBA team, whatever team you want. You just don't get them because that was my pick, and that's he stood with me forever, and that's why we won. No, it's not how it works. You got to make business moves, and this business move is to win and secure the future. And by doing that and solidifying the offensive line, because he might get hurt, but if he doesn't, even better, or even put him in, if even even provide even more protection, and then it's only going to clear up. Brees Hall to fucking just go down. Like, there's so many ways that they could work, that this can work in their favor, and I just think that it was a great move, in my opinion.
I love, man. I love both the Giants and the Jets. Well, the Giants a little more quietly than the Jets, but both of them really did a great job on offensive line this year. And like I've said before, the knock on Joe Douglas when he got here, the first thing Joe Douglas said, if you can remember, was, I'm going to fix this offensive line. And up until now, he hasn't been able to do it. But I think this year he swung and hit it out the park, man. Like I said, that line from
fucking did it.
that left tackle, that was like the key piece. Obviously you got to have a left tackle to protect Aaron Rodgers. Essential. John Simpson, great pickup. You already had Joe Tippmann. Elijah Vera Tucker was there already. He's a great versatile piece, even though they kind of want to stick him in a solidified spot. Morgan Moses, phenomenal tackle on the right side. So, along with obviously Aaron Rodgers, you got Brees Hall. That with those guys, that run blocking. I'm saying, Brees Hall should have a great season. Pass blocking. Garrett Wilson Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams should have a great fucking season. You got Tyler Conklin. Hopefully Jeremy Ruckert takes a step forward on a tight end position.
Yeah.
On the defensive side of the ball, John Franklin Myers. I love that. Javon Kinlaw. I love that. Quentin Williams. Hassan Reddick is insane. CJ Mosley in the linebacker spot. DB. Obviously Sauce. DJ Reed. I even like Brandon Echols, in that, as a backup corner in certain spots. I think the Jets, man, on paper, and I hate that term paper, because it lends to the fact that we don't know what it's going to be on the field.
Yeah,
but I think
it hasn't been solidified yet.
Right, hasn't been solidified yet, but on paper, and it's a really nice looking piece of paper. When you know what I'm saying, the Jets shit. I think if they don't, listen, at the very least, if they don't win their division, I don't care. Drake May just got to New England. They're not set up yet. They don't have an identity yet. They're still building that. Miami, we already know the story of Miami. They're soft defensively at times.
But the Bills have no threats no more.
Bills, they didn't even have a draft pick this year. It's crazy. The Bills just got rid of Stephon Diggs. So they got issues, and Miami doesn't play. Miami, they're knocking them as well as being soft as they don't play well in cold weather. So I'm excited, man. I'm really excited. I'm pumped up. I'm jacked up. I want to play this clip real quick before we get out of here. It's Bill Belichick who will be making appearances this year, reoccurring appearances on the Pat McAfee show. And this is interesting because Bill Belichick is always like got the stoic look, this grumpy kind of vibe. He answers reporters' questions with one word. He's very, he's very like dismissive of reporters. But you always heard that behind closed doors, he's not like that. You know what I'm saying? He's like, he jokes around, shit like that. Yeah. But we never, as fans, we never got to look at that. I saw him on the Pat McAfee show the other day. Yo, he's loose. He's joking around.
Loosey.
I'm like, this is Bill Belichick. You know what I'm saying? And as much as I've killed Belichick throughout the years, I've called him overrated. He is a great coach with a plethora of knowledge. I want to play. I just want to circle back to the Giants pick because on the Pat McAfee show they were covering the draft. They were shitting on a little bit. They were shitting a little bit on the Nabers pick, and this is what maybe the GOAT coach has to say.
His ass is going to get fired.
Okay,
go find your guy.
All right, they got him a weapon.
No, the only thing I'll say is you don't have to wait for Nabers to get open for very long. You don't need a lot of protection with him. This kid's got separation, and he's done it against really good corners in the SEC.
They lose Saquon, which is obviously a massive piece of the whole thing. Now they add Nabers.
Listen, that's all we need to know. You don't need protection for that long. You don't need to hold the ball. He'll get open down the field very quick. Should work out well for Daniel Jones. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. Go G-Man. Crazy.
All right. Well, I think we're having technical difficulties over here, ladies and gentlemen, where Cash is ran late. It looks like he's partying without me. But yeah,